Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So glad to see you guys again. Little disclaimer, as I said in my last video, like it's hot and like my camera overheats, so like I have to have the air conditioner kind of blowing directly on it. So I'm gonna try my best in editing to fix it, but if it's a little like, you know, if the sound's a little weird, just bear with it, just deal with it, like, you know, we'll be okay. Anyway, in today's video, I want to talk about a topic that I've been thinking about for a long time. And that topic is basically what happened to the good games. Like, what happened to good games? Like, I'm talking about mobile games, and I'm also talking about like console games as well. I'm not really discussing PC games because I didn't really get into PC games until quite recently. So like, here's my background. Like, I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a gamer. Not so much these days, but I'm a gamer. Like, when I was a kid, like, just console alone, like, I'm talking PlayStation 2, I played PlayStation 3, never owned a PlayStation 3, played PlayStation 3, I have a PlayStation 4 now, I had the original Xbox 360, I had the GameCube, I had the Game Boy Advance, I had Game Boy Color at one point. Every few weekends going down to GameStop to try to get a new game, bro. I was on the GameSpot websites, bro, looking at websites, looking at new releases. Like, I was heavy into gaming when I was a kid. And that's just console. On my phone, Temple Run all day. Angry Birds, well, not Temple Run all day, because, you know, back in the day, like, it only ran on iPhones, and like it was a compatibility, and then like when it came out to Android, my phone wasn't really good enough to run it. But anyway, Temple Run, like Angry Birds, like, did we forget about Angry Birds, bro? Osmosis, the game where like you're a fucking cell and you're absorbing other cells, like Shadowgun, like Need for Speed, all of these amazing games. Like, I was just addicted to, like, during my childhood and adolescence, and I'm just like, where are they now? Like, where are they now? I mean, obviously the games are on the fucking market, but like, even the console franchises, I was all up in WWE games, Dragon Ball Z games, Naruto games, just all of it, like, and one. Like Def Jam, the fighting Def Jam game. I have been playing games for a very long time, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm not someone who came into like the gaming world and be like, all this shit, this all sucks. Like, no, like, I'm predisposed to liking games, but I have been finding that, like, as an adult, I've been having a pretty hard time getting into games. Lately, I've gotten into, like, Rocket League. I play that here and there. Like, I'm addicted to City Skylines. Like, I play that shit all the time. Like, the game I finished most recently was Battlefield 4. I really enjoyed Battlefield 4. PC-wise, I've gotten into Fortnite here and there. So I'm not saying good games don't exist anymore and that, like, no good games are being created anymore. I'm just saying, like, it feels like the economy, I guess, is different. So I know what a lot of people say, like, because I did research, because I really wanted to get back into games. Like, I had a lot of time on my hands. Like, I had the systems. I'm just like, I don't know, like, why do I feel like the games I used to play and rely on, like, we're just not doing it anymore like how we used to do it. So I did research, and a lot of people were like, oh, you're just sticking to AAA games, like, that's why you can't find any good games. Oh, try out the indie games, la 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 la. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give you that. Like, for music, people just sometimes need to expand their horizons. I'll give you that. Like, yes, obviously there's more games now than before, probably, and obviously there's a whole, but like, what is someone really saying when they say, I'm opening a PlayStation store, I'm opening like all these things, and I cannot find a game that I enjoy, like, especially of the popular games, the games that should be like best sellers, amazing sellers. And they also like to say, oh, you were into gaming before because you were a kid, and like kids are easier to entertain, and like the games for kids are different from adults. Like, that's not true. I don't think that's true at all. Like, I think that kids and adults can enjoy the same games. Like, look at Among Us, look at Fortnite. Like, you can enjoy the same games as a kid. Like, yes, kids are probably easier to entertain, but I feel like quality is quality, period. And obviously, like, the games I played as I was like a youngster maybe don't really hold the same exact way because, you know, graphics have changed and like just everything, a lot of things have changed over the years. I think there is something to be said about like, why can't that magic that we used to feel in games be captured anymore? And I'm not the first person to talk about it. Like, I guess there are other people to talk about it on YouTube, but I'm just kind of giving like my perspective of it and like what I think of it. I actually want to start with the mobile game space. I'm mostly talking about the like Android, I guess, mobile game, because I never had an iPhone, and I mean, I'm assuming that like the games are mostly the same, but for just so you guys know, like, I'm talking about like Android and like the Google Play Store. Like I said before, I used to be heavy addicted to playing games on my phone, like just hours on end playing games on my phone. Like, just addicting, just fun, just sort of innovative, and not even always innovative. Sometimes they were as simple as like fucking Flappy. I remember when that was like all the rage. And I feel like looking back, an amazing thing about these games that you kind of forget was that like these games were free 99. Like Temple Run was free, Angry Birds was free, Floppy Bird was free. So many good games that became like mega hits and became huge franchises were free. I don't think back when I was in middle school, like the idea of spending money on like a mobile gaming app was like even like things that were like fucking socially acceptable, to be honest. Because like not to say that the developers didn't deserve the money, not to say that, but it just wasn't like the culture at the time. Over time, and I have to do some research, or maybe I'll put some links in it, but I'm just going again with my experience. Over time, I did notice that like these big popular games did start to get like bigger and more popular. And of course, slowly when things get bigger and more popular, like, you know, the capitalism aspect comes, like, starts becoming intertwined with it. And that's when you see like Angry Birds offering you things to buy with real money in the game. And that's when you see Temple Run offering you things to buy, like, I guess coins or whatever the fuck to buy in game. But again, what I'm talking about, but like when this was happening, like, yes, you could buy stuff, but A, the things are mostly cheap, and then B, you didn't need them. Like, you literally, like, didn't need them. Like, they were just, like, if you were a massive fan, if you wanted to support the franchise, you didn't need them, like, period. You just bought it because it was cool and you had the funds or whatever to do. I would play days and hours and weeks of Angry Bird without ever spending a dime on it, and I was still making progress. I was still unlocking new things, unlocking new places, and it was just, like, money was just never a part of the equation. I think back then, when you got a big app, like a huge popular app, you maybe started creating merch, like t-shirts, you got film deals, like TV show deals, and like you were making money, like your app was good and it was popular and you were making money like outside of the app because it was good. But I feel like these days, most of the money is coming from within the fucking app itself. And dare I say, the quality isn't necessarily there. I don't believe that most of the popular games out now for mobile games are as good or as cultural reset as like an Angry Birds was, or like a Floppy Bird or a Temple Run. I don't believe that. I feel like these days, you're paying money up front just to even progress in the game, and just to even like literally just to even progress in the game, and just to even make the game playable in a way that like it was just never a thing before. And again, I'm not saying that developers don't deserve money or they don't have a right to ask for money from players, because of course they do. It's hard work that you're doing, and like you deserve to, I guess, be compensated for it. But like, we can't sit here and pretend that like some people just not out here scamming. Some people just out here scamming, bro. Look at any popular, even free game right now on like your app store, and I guarantee you, many of the reviews talk about it's a fun game, but at a certain point you have to start paying money to advance. I know this is like a huge thing for like a Need for Speed, like you having to, or it could be, or Asphalt, whatever, having to purchase upgrades with real money just so you can start winning matches, because your ass will just start getting demolished easily. Having to purchase guns for certain games, even just to buy a non-ad version of the game, because like the game has so many fucking ads that it's basically unplayable. It's crazy that even the free games have a premium to them, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Like, whatever happened to creating a genuinely good game and then hoping that becomes popular and then monetizing it after, and then like, you know, actually doing the hard work? Like, what happened to that? I feel like that's a part that people don't talk about when someone is saying, hey, like, these fucking mobile games kind of suck. Like, low-key, they kind of suck, and I have to pay an arm and a leg just to even make a game playable. I feel like it's not fair to just say, oh, look at the indie games, like, stop looking at the big name games. Just like, no, like, can we acknowledge that a lot of developers and these companies are basically saying that, like, you should pay money up front just if you want to even do well with the game. And that's the crazy part. It's like, not even having just like I don't know, like the decency to charge you up front to play the game, $4.99 just to install the game and then play whatever, but like to make it free and then have that freemium model where like you play the game and you like it, and then like you have to like just continue paying more and more money just to do well. Like, that's just so insane. That's the nasty capitalism that like I'm just not getting behind. Now, I do want to just switch over to console games, because I feel like mobile games, like, that's like that's simple. And also not to mention that like mobile gaming has become like a huge industry, like many of the ads that you see in apps like are to download mobile games for whatever reason. I don't freaking know, but they are. So obviously that market just becomes saturated with a bunch of nonsense, and it makes it even harder for people, to just find decent games, even if they are looking for it. Like, talking about console games, I actually feel more comfortable talking about console games because, like I said, I was into mobile games, but I stopped being into mobile games, I believe, earlier than I stopped being into console games. Like I said before, I was huge into, like, many gaming franchises. Like, Naruto game, you name it, I had it. Dragon Ball Z game, you name it, I had it. WWE game, you name it, I had it. Like, I literally own WWE games all the way from, like, WWF fucking, like, Shut Your Mouth all the way up until, like, 2K, up until, like, SmackDown were like, 2008, so, like, 7 generations or so of WWE gaming, I had it. And that's just for, like, the PlayStation 2. Like, that's just for the PlayStation 2. Naruto games, I've had them since Naruto, the first Ultimate Ninja game, when the graphics were absolute shit. And it ended at the Orochimaru versus the Third Hokage. I had it since then. I've had those games up until now. I have Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto on my PlayStation 4. But in addition to that, I've had Uzumaki Chronicles. I've had the Xbox 360 games like Road to Ninja. Like, I kind of know what I'm talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've seen, like, games evolve over time. Like Dragon Ball Z, I've had the original Budokai game for PlayStation, I believe PlayStation 2, up until Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And then these days, like, I tried out Xenoverse 2, which I'll talk more about later, and Kakarot and Fire Z, which I'll talk about more later. Well, that's to ask the question, why is someone like me, who's heavily involved in these franchises, like, even now, like, I haven't stopped loving Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. I mean, I don't watch wrestling anymore, but, like, for that time that I used to play, I still really look fondly back at that time. So why someone like me, who it should be easy as fuck to sell a game to, why am I not getting into the new games? Like, what's going on here? Like, did a switch flip when I turned, like, 17 and I just stopped liking games? I don't think so. For example, the WWE games. I remember when, I believe, 2009 came out, SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 came out. Like I said before, I would read reviews before buying games because games are fucking expensive. And just over time, just seeing new games. And also, I didn't have a PlayStation 3, so, like, that was kind of a reason why I kind of hit a peak. Maybe that's a big reason. Anyway, seeing, like, the initial game reviews coming out and seeing, like, oh, like, this character isn't there anymore. Oh, this has changed. This mechanic has changed. This has changed. It's just, this mode has been removed. It's just like, okay, like, alright, fine, like, I don't need it, I'll wait for the next one. The next one comes out. At this point, I'm not interested in WWE anymore. I'm not watching anymore. Don't care for any of the characters. So I will say for wrestling, a big part of it was just that I was not invested in the franchise anymore. And I probably didn't have the consoles for, like, the later games for that middle period, so that's fine. But there is something to say that, like, if you look at a lot of people who discuss the wrestling games, that they will tell you, like, it's common knowledge that, like, there was a huge dip in quality. I'd say probably in that 2K area, where the succeeding games wasn't necessarily better than the previous. Like, you weren't necessarily getting better mechanics or better graphics or more stability even. And I think it says a lot now that even if you look at a lot of these videos and they're ranking the WWE games, a lot of them still put games like WWE, Just Bring It, or Here Comes the Pain above even, like, 2K17 or 2K18, for example. So, like, I don't think it's just me. I think there is a certain lack of, like, I guess, heart and, like, charisma that was in the old games, despite not having the same graphics and maybe not having the same, like, advanced mechanics that the new games have, but there was still, like, a level of heart and, like, authenticity that made those games so much more enjoyable. Obviously, they're not as easy to enjoy now because, like, we're used to, like, 4K graphics, and it just kind of fucking hurts your eyes going back to, like, the shit graphics back then, but it's just, like, it really makes you wonder. I'm like, damn, like, why couldn't they just have continued this but just made it just look better and just improve the graphics a little bit? Like, but instead you get removing so many features and removing this and, like, changing this. It's just like, are we making it better? I feel like that's the question that's not really being asked in a lot of developing studios. And then, okay, so I'm going to talk about the Dragon Ball Z games, for example. As I said before, Budokai I had, Budokai 2 I had, Budokai 3 I had, Budokai Tenkaichi I had, Budokai Tenkaichi 2 I had, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 I had. I had the fucking Dragon Ball Z games. I had the ones for Game Boy too. I had them. And I will tell you, at Budokai 3, I can tell you that Budokai was not that great of a game. Or that Budokai 2 was not. So, like, even as a kid, like, I had discernment, like, this game just isn't all that amazing, but, like, hey, I'll play it, like, it's a cool game. I don't know what that was. It does what it needs to do. So then, so of course, when Xenoverse, that franchise comes out, like, of course, it's exciting. Like, we're getting updated graphics. We're getting cool graphics. Mind you, all anyone ever wanted was give us Budokai Tenkaichi 3, but make it look good. That's it. That's all anybody asked for. We got Xenoverse. Am I going to fault them for giving us new things and just changing it up? No, of course not. Like, I appreciate it. Just because it's not for me, just because I enjoy it, doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. But, like, I feel like what happens so much these days is that, like, these studios have such big budgets now that they go so overboard and just overdo it. Just add so much complexity to stories. Just add so much, like, complexity to mechanics and how things are done. And the question, again, is the game better than than it was in our last remake? That's the question that's not being freaking asked. Why are so many people still saying Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is a better game than many of the new games? Like, why? Like, let's really look at that. Alright, Xenoverse 2. I didn't play Xenoverse 1, I played Xenoverse 2. And playing is like a generous word. I hardly fucking played it. In the old Dragon Ball Z games, all you did, there was a cutscene in the beginning, and then you take you to the menu, free battle, story, training, whatever, boom, 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 select players, select characters, boom, select arena, boom. Xenoverse 2. You have to fucking enter this fucking world, which is cool, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've always wanted to open Dragon Ball Z, right? It's cool. But you have to open this world, enter this world, and you have to fucking walk to a kiosk where you can choose what menu that you want to play, or which type of battle you want to do, like training or versus battle or online mode. Maybe there's another way, maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. But that is just like, who the fuck asked for that? Who the fuck asked for that? Why would you make me have to go across the fucking map just to change mode, just to go from train? Like, why? And on top of that, this shit was kind of buggy. I remember it took me months to even play a match with Xenoverse 2 after getting it, because, like, the servers were down. Like, I didn't know why the servers were just fucking down. I don't know, and I still to this day don't fucking know the issue. It was just like, it just didn't work. Like, yeah. Obviously I was frustrated. Obviously very, very, very frustrated. Like, I'm spending money on this game. I'm trying to, like, you know, be cool and move with the new generation, but you're giving me a complicated product that's not that much better, or like at all, than where I last saw you. Like, why? Like, why? Not even to speak of the mechanic. I mean, I'm getting them all mixed up at this point, but, like, I played, I think, a round of Xenoverse 2, and it's just like, I don't know how to play the game. Like, I can't play the games. I can't play the new Dragon Ball Z games. I can't play Xenoverse 2. I can't, like, play Kakarot. I can't play Fighter Z. Like, I just can't get with the mechanics. Same thing for the WWE games. I just can't get with the mechanics. Maybe it's because I hadn't played in such a, like, there was, like, a gap of time where I didn't play, like, the intermediary games, so, like, I'm a little bit stale, but I can't play it. Like, there's so many fucking, like, you have to get your timing perfect. You have to do all this stuff. You have to, like, go through training and stuff like that just to, like, do simple fucking key blast. And don't even get me started on WWE. Like, I played 2K, I believe, 19, and I tried to do a match. There's not even a tutorial mode from what I can see. The mechanics are so fucking difficult. Like, when I was playing a match, like, I could hardly even move. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's cool because it's more realistic, and I appreciate that, but it's also, like, it's fucking hard, bro. Like, there's a huge learning curve. That's one biggest thing as well. There are so many huge learning curves, especially to the newest games, and I don't understand why. Like, it's just like, what about us? What about the people who don't fucking feel like doing a PhD dissertation to play a game? What about us? I'm not asking for, like, you know, like, I'm a button masher. I'm sometimes a button masher. So I'm not asking for, like, to keep the button mashing behind. I'm not asking for that, but I'm also asking just, like, can we stop making it so fucking complicated? Can we stop making it so complicated? Anyway, so I can't play Xenoverse 2. Kakarot. Fuck Kakarot. Kakarot looks good. It's a nice looking game. I enjoyed the open world aspect of it, and I'm not gonna, like, go too hard on it because I think a lot of people would appreciate that, but it's also just like, why I gotta fly around to get to the next thing? Why I gotta do all that? Why I gotta do all that? Like, fuck me, like, why I gotta do all that? Like, maybe, and again, maybe you don't have to do all that. Maybe you can just hit skip button or whatever. But like, why I gotta do all that? Why I gotta fly around on Nimbus? Like, and mind you, I'm talking. I haven't even. I don't think I've gotten to like the raddest part yet. I'm like, why do I gotta do all this? When you start the game, you go fishing with Gohan, which is cool, but it's also like. That brings me to the next thing about gaming these days. Okay, you know what? Actually, I'm going to talk about Naruto. I'm going to transition to Naruto, and then I'm going to go to this point. I applaud Naruto, the Naruto games, because even with Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, even though I haven't played it in a long time, the Naruto franchise, the mechanics are still very similar. The combos are more complicated, and the moves are more complicated in general. Or not complicated, they're more like, I guess, custom in a way, but it's not necessarily harder. Like, there's not a huge learning curve. Like, someone who just is just playing it randomly can just get into it and still, like, somewhat do well. So I'm not, like, I give kudos to that for Naruto. The only thing that bugs me about Naruto, about Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto, and again, maybe I could explore back. Because you remember in Road to Ninja for Xbox 360, there was like a thing where you can like do open world roaming to get to the next thing, which is exactly what I was complaining about for Kakarot. But anyway, you know how they had that? In Road to Boruto, from what I remember, the story mode is basically, you're going through basically the entire Shinobi War. And so basically you do like a battle. For example, you're fighting Kakashi fighting Obito. You're recreating the battle. You're Kakashi fighting Obito. Or like you're dodging the tail beast bombs or whatever the fuck. And then in between those, you're basically watching the show. And I'm just like, bruh, I sat through the fucking manga and I sat through the fucking anime. Why I gotta rewatch the entire show right now to get this stuff? Why? And the thing is, you could skip it, I think, but it's also like you feel like you're missing a lot of it if you skip it, like, because it's like, it's kind of the experience, because if you don't watch the cutscenes, you're kind of just like doing a bunch of random battles and shit. So it's like you kind of have to watch it, but it's also like, why I gotta do all that? It's cool, I guess, but it's also why I gotta do all that. Why I do all that. And I don't have a problem with, like, I guess cutscenes and things in between battles for story modes, but it's just like you're literally giving me what happened in the episode in the anime and you're just putting in the game. The Demon Slayer game does the exact same thing. And I had to stop playing after one battle. I watched the fucking anime. I know what happens. Why I gotta rewatch the entire thing? Why I gotta rewatch it? Lazy. Why I so fucking lazy? Dragon Ball Z Sagas did that, but they used the clips as like intermediaries. Like the clips were very short and like they were action-packed, they were fast. But most of the story mode is the fucking cutscenes in the Road to Boruto. I'm like, why I so lazy? Why I so fucking lazy? And again, maybe there's another mode that I'm forgetting where like you don't have to do all that, but like from what I've seen, that's it. Why I so lazy, bro? Why I so lazy? Okay, and to transition to what I was going to say earlier, a lot of games these days, especially console games, why I gotta watch a movie? Why I gotta sit down with popcorn for 4 hours and watch a fucking movie to play a game? Why? Stop with the fucking... I don't think I'm the average game player. I think that's the issue. I don't think I'm the average game player. I think some people appreciate cutscenes and stuff like that, but for me personally, I don't really seek them out. Like, that's why I never played Final Fantasy past, like, the first cutscene, because I cannot. Like, I just don't feel like watching a fucking movie while I'm playing a game. I am so sorry. Battlefield 4 was good. I like the Battlefield 4 cutscenes, but even though you couldn't fucking skip my thing, which is kind of fucking annoying. But so, like, I'm not opposed to all cutscenes necessarily, but it's also, like, why are they required and why I gotta watch a whole fucking movie to play the game. If I'm playing a game for 3 hours, why am I watching a fucking movie for 2 hours and 30 minutes? Like, why? I didn't sign up for that. And I get it. Graphics are getting better, scripts are getting, I get it. But it's also like, I can't remember the game I was trying to play. It was like an RPG game. I'm just like, and I stopped playing. I didn't even get to the battle, and I was just like, bro, I'm not trying to watch a movie. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I guess there are people who are into that. I'm not. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm not into that. You're gonna have to give me something a bit more creative. Like, I'm not asking you to give me, like, bare bones, like Budokai Tenkaichi, where, like, you're just going from one battle. I'm not asking for that necessarily, but just give me something. Just give me something. Just don't give me, like, don't give me episodes from the show. If you're going to give me, like, your own original... If you're going to give me your own original things, that may not be for me, but I won't be so upset, because it's just, like, if I'm in the mood, I can jive with it, like a Battlefield 4, and I know other people appreciate it. But if you're just giving me, like... If you're just being lazy with it, like, I'm so sorry, I don't want it. So, all in all, after my little rant, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that, like, there are people who genuinely love games and, come in with the best intention to, like, just honestly become addicted to a game, and they really want to do it. And I feel like there are legit criticisms to the way gaming is done these days. And I feel like when the criticisms get like kind of dismissed and people are just so happy to take whatever they can get from the companies, I feel like it's just like, what are we doing here? If I'm paying $64 for a game, it's just like, not only should I be getting a better game than the fucking last thing you gave me, give me something new, give me something special. And I'm talking about console games right now, and even like fucking mobile games. Give me something new, give me something special. Don't be lazy with it. And for mobile games, stop trying to scam people, stop trying to rob people. Give them a good product first, right? And maybe then try to monetize that. Like, I like the Angry Bird model. Like, do that. But a lot of people just are in it to make the money, and I guess that's whatever. But don't call us crazy when we talk about how shit a lot of the games are these days. Because, anyway, I'm just trying to say there are different gamers out there. Like, not everyone is a hardcore, been gaming for 20 years straight, like, can become a master in a game in like 3 days. Like, not everyone is like that. Some people play games casually. Some people take a few years, months, breaks off from games. And when they step into a game, they want familiarity, they want something new, but they also don't want to be overwhelmed with like controls and like cutscenes and all that stuff. That's all I'm trying to say. And I feel like one side is being catered to more than the others for like certain franchises. And I feel like, I don't know, we can come to like a nice middle somewhere. That's just all I'm trying to say. Like, no, I don't want to be stuck in nostalgia, but I also can acknowledge that like things were a little different back then. And also, case in point, have you seen new game rollouts these days? Like, it's freaking commonplace for a game to be rolled out and then like getting DLCs and just like not DLCs, but like just the developers fixing the game like in the coming years. I'm like, why didn't you release just a full nice game to begin with instead of developing this game for like 3 years after it's been released? I'm not saying like you can't like add new stuff to a game after you release it. I'm just saying like I feel like a lot of developers or a lot of these companies are taking like or releasing half-baked shit on purpose and just doing like the bare minimum. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm at like I have very little recording memory left. So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Again, sorry about the AC noise. I'll try to fix it in my editing. I'll try to do some editing magic, but if I can't, you got to forgive me. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.